But I wanted to get to a bigger point. Because the time comes, somewhat pun intended, for us to take the gloves off when it comes to Jake Paul.
Jr. loses a unanimous decision to Jake Paul in 2025. The fight has not even played out yet.
He's fixing the fights. It's not fair. It's an embarrassment on boxing. He shouldn't be doing this. It's so embarrassing. He's fighting old men.
Stephen A. Smith exposes Jake Paul's fights as potentially rigged, slamming his pattern of choosing much older opponents furious. He says it's time to take the gloves off literally and figuratively. Smith points out this isn't the first time Jake has fought someone far older, referencing Mike Tyson at 58. He calls it dangerous and unethical, accusing Jake of using huge paydays to lure aging fighters into the ring just for profit.
These are the kind of things that I'm talking about here. Boxing's a skill. Let me give y'all an example. Remember Francis Ngannou? Remember that monster? That Nigerian nightmare? Remember him? And then we saw him show up and show a little skill against Tyson Fury, who came there out of shape. What happened when he got into the ring with Anthony Joshua? He got put to sleep much in the same way Nate Robinson got put to sleep. Boxing is a skill. Jake Paul is a professional. He trains. At some point in time, I don't give a damn if it's a light heavyweight. Beterbiev, Bivol, a super middleweight, Canelo, Mexican monster, David Benavidez, somebody that actually has a reputation.
A wave of confusion erupted among viewers when, during the 7th round of Jake Paul's fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., some fans claimed that online sources had already displayed Jake as the winner. This premature announcement raised serious concerns about the integrity of the fight. How could a platform reflect the outcome before the final bell? This incident has fueled suspicions of predetermined results, adding fire to ongoing allegations of rigging in Jake Paul's boxing journey for skeptics. It wasn't just a glitch, it looked like confirmation of behind-the-scenes control.
As you are watching this video, Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez are currently right now in the 7th round of their fight. But when you go to Google and Google the fight, it gives an accurate breakdown of all their past fights. And then it comes to the current fight, and it says that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. loses a unanimous decision to Jake Paul in 2025. The fight has not even played out yet. Yet they're saying that this is the end results as they are fighting right now, currently as it stands. This leans testament to the fact that people state that Jake Paul has his fights fixed. What's your thoughts on this? This is nasty work. Unbelievable. This is Google. Google it yourself. Peace.
Many fans found it hard to reconcile Julio's seemingly passive performance with the reputation he once carried throughout most of the bout. He remained oddly static, showing little aggression for a seasoned boxer. The lack of offense raised eyebrows in the final 2 rounds. When he finally threw a few punches, it looked more like an attempt to save face than win. Viewers coined the nickname Fake Paul, suggesting that Jake was not facing real resistance and implying the fight was more performance than sport.
Under 40 in 6 months. And he's been off the El Chapitos. He's been off the El Mayo Zambada up his nose. So he's probably more like 48 adjusted. A 48-year-old man. Okay? There's numerous angles here, right? Was he paid not to throw punches? That's possible. Is he just 48 in La Coca years? That's also possible. What we know for a fact is Fake Paul's useless, honestly. He's proper useless. Chavez like this, just standing there. No pace. In the last few rounds, he had a little bit of pace. Even then, Fake Paul just clings on, though. Fake Paul's, I've been saying this, Fake Paul's got no inside at all. He's got no stand, and let's have a look. Let's work here, if he's coming at me. He clings on for dear life. He kind of pushes his punches out. Slap, slap, slap. No, all this talk of power. These dudes... Chavez, actually, he looked a bit smaller than Fake Paul. Fake Paul's not a cruiserweight. He's a light heavyweight, honestly. He's so soft. He's got like these big rubber dinghy arms. Big rubber, soft. Not Chavez looked more like an athlete. But that'll be on... Well, is Jake Paul going to fight anyone? They're already walking back the Zerdo situation. Oh, Zerdo don't sell. Well, we knew Zerdo didn't sell.
people tweeting some fans still question the fight's legitimacy. A lot of viewers feel something wasn't right and continue to discuss it. Online skeptics believe Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. as lack of offense was suspicious and say that this fight was rigged, as one whisperer tweeted. Jake Paul fight clearly rigged. No way a real boxer sat there for 8 rounds barely throwing a punch, but in the last 2 rounds he starts to really box and looked fresh as hell. Nah, you can't tell me nothing. He was told to lose this fight and in the end try and get the win. Mismatch fights involving stars like Jake Paul have become more frequent, with fans drawn in by the spectacle rather than the sport. The novelty of influencers entering the boxing ring has generated massive interest, but it comes at a cost. True boxing fans lament how these matches favor marketability over merit. The hype overshadows fair competition, and when names like Chavez Jr. get involved, people expect a fight, not a staged play. Yet with more eyes watching, controversy becomes the fuel that keeps this form of entertainment alive.
You felt like boxing's pretty rigged overall.
Oh, yes, Rick, dude. I mean, so many politics, even with, MMA, man, there's so many politics. There's no more art anymore. It's just, let's get an influencer in there. I get it. It's like generating money because our attention span is so short. You look at clips now, it's like 7 seconds. I saw a dude slamming a lady the other day and they were like, oh my God, that dude is, I'm like, well, what the do? I'm just gonna pick somebody and slam them. Where's the whole video? And our attention span is just so small. So money talks, of course. Yeah, let's get an influencer in there who has no style, but it draws attention. It's just dumb to me.
There's an alternative angle that has been heavily debated. Some argue this wasn't about a fix, but about money. Julio's dismal punch count, only 13 over the course of the fight, has been interpreted by some as evidence that he didn't bother preparing to them. It wasn't a rigged fight, it was an easy paycheck. Critics say Julio Sr. should have stepped in to protect the family legacy from what many call a public humiliation. Accepting the bout in that condition felt like cashing in at the cost of pride.
Results, a couple of shocking results. I think that Jake Paul undercards and the promotional arm of his brand, I think, is the most fun part of what Jake Paul brings to boxing. Honestly, I think long term, I think that's what we can hold hope for. Because Jake's fights are, this one was borderline atrocious, and kind of the writing was on the wall. But I gotta admit, even I bought drank the Kool-Aid, and mainly I drank the Kool-Aid because Chavez Sr., who also is disgraceful for doing this, made me believe, and I think, this has been the problem with Chavez Jr. He's been enabled constantly by the media, the promoters, his family, and all this other stuff. So he never really shows up prepared. He never cares and just shows up to get paid and basically steals the bag every single time. And he did it tonight again. The reason I actually thought this fight had a chance was because Chavez Sr. Guaranteed us that his son was motivated and was having a training camp. So, as much of a Hall of Fame career as the father had, he's the con artist, I guess, must run in the family, because Junior has been a con artist his whole career, but at least he's been enabled through it, But now the father doing this, I mean, you knew already your son wasn't going to be ready. You put your own reputation on the line and sold us this crap. And then ultimately your son throws what most guys will throw in a round. He throws it through 10 rounds. It was actually kind of really insane.
Jake Paul has pushed back strongly against rumors, especially regarding the upcoming fight with Mike Tyson. He insists that these accusations are baseless and rooted in jealousy or fear of his success. According to him, critics label every major fight as rigged to downplay his efforts, yet with his opponents often being retired legends or inactive fighters, fans aren't buying the narrative. The Tyson fight in particular has sparked even more scrutiny because of Jake's history of controversial matchmaking.
After I beat Mike Tyson, the amount of people saying this is rigged was crazy. They showed this clip of Mike Tyson going to swing at me with a left hook, and he stopped doing it, but saw I had my right hand up. So he would have swung like this, I catch it and shoot. He's leaning forward, I could have knocked him out. So that's why he stopped throwing it. And it's they play this one clip and it has literally 50 million views on TikTok, but the average person doesn't understand boxing.
Boxing coach and former Olympian Tony Jeff added his voice to the conversation, suggesting that people are quick to cry foul when they don't want to acknowledge Jake's wins. He pointed out that most of Jake's victories came against older or less competitive opponents. In that sense, Jeff wasn't exactly defending Jake's skills, but more so challenging the public's readiness to label every win as scripted. He emphasized that while the wins may not be against elite boxers, that doesn't automatically mean they were fake.
You might be raging and saying, but he's fixing the fights. It's not fair. It's an embarrassment on boxing. He shouldn't be doing this. It's so embarrassing. He's fighting old men. Well, is it a fix? No, mate. It's not a fix. Is Julius Cesar Chavez past his best? Yes. Was Mike Tyson past his best? Absolutely, mate. Now, if you look at all of the great fighters, look at all of the records, and you can go on BoxRec and see this, you'll see that they are fighting either one of two people. Either a person who's a journeyman, who's coming in there just to lose and give the fighter their experience, or they'll be fighting someone who might have been a former champion who is now past it. And finding these right opponents is key for the development of any fighter, not just someone like Jake Paul, but any fighter. Now, with Jake, because he's got so much attention on him, people are seeing this. Whereas normally, fighters are not even live on TV until they've had X amount of fights. If you look at someone like Floyd Mayweather, look, we fought in his 4th pro fight, or even his 10th pro fight. Some of these fights will not be on TV. And now Jake is on TV and he's fighting former world champions, which he's fought a few now. I think everyone should give him respect now as a fighter, fighting someone like that and putting so much pressure on himself as well. Now, do I think that fight and other fights was rigged? Absolutely not. I think that Jake is very smart. He's picking the right fights, but at the same time, he's developed as a very good fighter now. There's no denying that he is a very good fighter now. Yes, he did lose that one fight to Tommy Fury by, was it a split decision?
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., despite the backlash, maintains that he is not done with boxing. He insists this fight was just a bump in the road, but fans are skeptical. How can someone throw so few punches and still consider themselves an active competitor? His post-fight comments did little to reassure fans of his motivation or preparation. Critics believe his statement reflects a lack of accountability and that his performance sent the wrong message to aspiring fighters who look up to him.
What was difficult to do in the fight tonight that you wanted to do but you couldn't?
Our confidence, first round, and come forward. I think when I'm like back, it's not good for me. So if I'm fighting again, like I learn this. So take the punches, come forward, and try to be more inside, because when I see him inside, his punches don't have the same power. So I think I do a mistake in these things, like fight a distance.
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask. I kept asking myself, why isn't he working on the inside, throwing body shots, hook, upper, you know?
Yes. So maybe more fights, a little more confidence. I need it, like more confidence.
This bout with Julio isn't the first to be labeled scripted. Jake Paul has a history of arranging fights that feel more like entertainment spectacles than athletic contests. Fans have noticed a recurring pattern: aging opponents, easy wins, and maximum media coverage. The Tyson match only intensified these beliefs, with some fans already calling it a promotional gimmick rather than a fair contest. While Jake has mastered the art of drawing attention, it's also made him a target for credibility issues.
More important and quite serious news in the combat sports world. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, it's come out now. It was rigged. I can't believe it. You know, you have to question the validity of boxing these days when you can't trust two professionals to get in the ring and do their best against each other. And instead you find out Mike Tyson pulling his punches, not trying to hurt Jake Paul. Absolute disgrace. I thought better of them.
Allegations about the Mike Tyson fight include disturbing claims, scripts dictating how each fighter should behave in the ring, from controlled punches to choreographed moments. Some insiders suggested the fight had elements of a rehearsed event, adding to the controversy. Reports indicated that Tyson could be penalized financially if he knocked out Jake too early. Such clauses, if true, show how the fight may have been set up to ensure Jake walked away without damage, literally and figuratively.
Y'all already know I'm mad about this fight. I really wasn't even going to talk about it because I already felt like it was a setup. But when Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, it really just confirmed and solidified everything. So, Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, and I'm going to read it to social media. So, it says the rules for the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight are designed to favor Jake Paul. These include, the rules are extremely favorable to Jake Paul. The contract will incentivize Mike Tyson to lose and give Jake Paul an opportunity to choose himself as a winner. The first stipulation in the contract will punish Tyson for knocking out Jake because he is paid on a sliding scale per round. If Tyson knocks Jake out in the first round, he would receive no money. If he knocks him out in the second round, he would only make a small amount of cash. For Tyson to make the most money he needs to survive all 8 rounds, which means avoiding knocking Jake Paul out. If the fight goes to a split decision, it favors Jake Paul because the judges have to be approved by Jake Paul. I'm gonna let y'all read that.
This accusation has become almost a fixture in Jake Paul's career. Fans believe Jake compensates his opponents not just for showing up, but to make sure they don't outshine him. These claims aren't just speculation, they stem from consistently suspicious patterns, including low punch counts, no knockdowns, and bizarre fight endings. After his win against Julio, Jake rose to top 15 in cruiserweight rankings, a move that shocked many considering how little resistance he faced. For critics, it seemed more like a PR win than a boxing achievement.
Then you want us to respect Jake Paul as a fighter, but how you want me to respect this man as a boxer and he basically pays his opponents to lose? The culture didn't want to see that. All the 80s babies and people born in earlier time did not want to see that fight. And I think if I knew these rules, which I believe these rules make a lot of sense to why Mike Tyson really didn't fuck him up. And it's like, why do you think people want to continue to watch a Jake Paul fight when every time it's going to always be in his favor because people are paid to lose? Nah, respectfully, that's not real boxing. That's not real fighting. I'm sorry. And I know for Tyson, he's retired anyway. He's still the champ. This fight didn't mean anything, but it meant everything for Mike Tyson fans. And I'm just like, I'm disappointed. And I wasn't even going to come on social media. But like I said, once I saw Trick Daddy post that, I was like.
Observers have highlighted that the body language and lack of effort from Julio seemed unnatural. The 13 punches he did throw appeared to be soft, unfocused, and delayed. It looked more like he was acting out a role than competing. Add to that odd moments like glove biting, and the suspicions grow. These elements gave the impression of pre-planned sequences rather than spontaneous athletic performance. Whether coincidence or not, they continue to blur the line between sport and spectacle in Jake Paul's world. While some people and many believe that the fight wasn't scripted, people just don't want to accept the reality that Jake has truly done great. His performance in the ring speaks for itself, and instead of giving him credit, they try to make excuses to downplay his achievements and hard work. Despite all the backlash, some like Adam Smith see Jake Paul's journey as groundbreaking. From YouTube star to headline boxer, his rise has been unconventional. While controversy follows him, Jake's ability to command attention and dominate fight discussions cannot be ignored. His transformation into a boxing brand is in itself a modern tale of influence, fame, and calculated business decisions. Whether fans view him as a fighter or a fraud, Jake Paul's story is now cemented in this era of crossover boxing.
I mean, if he does, it's going to be one of the great stories of this generation, isn't it? They start off as YouTubers, as influencers. I love working with Logan Paul and KSI when we did that fight together. It was the sort of start of it. My kids love what they've done, the whole Misfits thing. Look, yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm a hardcore boxing fan, and that European title fight doesn't get any better. But Jake Paul has millions and millions of followers.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned.